Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for taking the time to join us today. My name is Haley Davis, and I'm here with two lovely ladies that are going to partner with me and help me go through this presentation. I just want to say thanks for joining me and taking the time to come say hello. My name is Haley with Destinations HD, and I have Liz, who's going to be our wine connoisseur, to take us through some of the wine specialist part, and then Marcy, who's going to talk us through the AMA Waterways presentation and how the rivers have experiences and what they offer that's a little bit different and unique. So, and I just wanted to kind of mention too, so the wine specific theme night that we're doing, there's also additional themes that you can do. So we can customize anything that you're looking for. So if you are into photography or culinary or beer, we can customize different tours and sites for you for that too. So if you've got a group of people that you'd like to do that, just let me know and we can try to figure out some options for you. But we'll just dive into it. So thanks again, and I will pass it on to Marcy.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so very much for joining us. I'm so excited that you've taken time out of your busy schedule. We appreciate it. I am very excited that Liz Barrett, my colleague, is joining us this evening because let me tell you, she knows so much about wines and so much about the beautiful regions that we travel that really offer the celebration of wines at AMA. So our ultimate goal this evening is to share with you why AMA Waterways, what sets us apart, what makes us different, and then we're going to take you on a wine cruise through all the different regions. So we are a family-owned and operated company, very exciting. Our founder, Rudy Schreiner, our initiating founder, Mr. Rudy Schreiner, is known as the godfather of the rivers. He is also the only river executive that was ever put into the Cruise Line Hall of Fame. And certainly he has earned these awards in that he is an architect by trade, and he builds our ships very differently than anyone else in the river marketplace. And what that means to you as a guest is very important. We have water on the rivers that come three ways. So they come high, low, and perfect. And we'd love to say Mother Nature always gives us perfect, but she doesn't always do that. So as you can imagine, high water can be challenging, but the real challenge is the low water situation. And about 2018, I guess it was, we had a very interesting year on the rivers, the Danube and the Rhine, and we had very, very low water levels. And we are the only river company that actually did not have any cancellations. We were able to operate our ships in 11 inches of water, if you can imagine. So we're very, very proud of what Rudy brings to the industry as a whole, but really special to our company and important to you, our guest. And then we have Christine Karst, who is a founder as well, absolutely wonderful lady. She is very involved with our advisors and our guests globally on a daily basis. And then we have the Murphy family. And the Murphy family used to own a tour company called Brendan Worldwide Tours. They sold that company, but they actually did a lot of touring into Europe, into their home country of Ireland. And what they brought to these other two families was just a wealth of information regarding how to do our packaging and what everyone really wanted to see and do when they arrived in these beautiful destinations. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this map because we have maps all throughout the presentation, but I want to point out this is the Danube River. This is the longest, largest river in Western Europe, taking you all the way from the Netherlands down into Bulgaria. This river is the only river that offers a consecutive 14-day sailing. This river is very mountainous, very lush, very beautiful, has some castles, has more palaces, has abbeys, and has some beautiful war history right up through here in Germany, but also has amazing wines, and we're going to talk about that. The second most popular river is going to be this right here, coming from the Netherlands down into Switzerland, being the Rhine River. And the Rhine River is a bit different. It's very lush, very mountainous, but it's got a little more of a rocky type mountain. Beautiful, beautiful vineyards run right to the water's edge. And we go through an area of about 40 miles called the Rhine Gorge. And through the Rhine Gorge, we get to see approximately 26 castles, that many of them still in operation, some private homes, some are just remnants of the original castles, but many are youth hostels, hotels, event centers, and they're absolutely beautiful. So a lot of castles on this particular route, along with war history. We come down here to the Seine River. This is known as the River of the Arts. We visit Monet's home, Monet's gardens. We go over to this beautiful seaport city, Le Havre, and then we've got the beaches of Normandy, a very, very beautiful itinerary as well, very special itinerary. Then we come down here, and this is Bordeaux, and we're going to talk more about all of these rivers. Bordeaux, of course, is the old world wines of France, beautifully located in the Loire Valley. Then you come down to the Douro, and the Douro is a beautiful sighting of Portugal and Spain. The Douro region is very mountainous, very steep mountains. This is the only itinerary in Europe where we do not have bicycles, because literally you'd be pushing them straight up a mountain and straight down a mountain. This is also a beautiful area in the fact that this is where they still raise the white grape, and they produce some of the finest port wines in the world. And Liz will touch base on that also. And then we come over here to the Rhone River, and this is the beautiful area where when you see the lavender fields of France, this is the area where you see the lavender fields. And during the blooming of the lavender fields, you also see the sunflower fields. So you can imagine the landscape is just breathtaking. We visit some beautiful cities and villages along the Rhone River. This is the Côte du Rhône region as well, and it's also known for being one of the top areas for gastronomy, and we'll talk about that as well. In addition to this, which we won't touch base on, but we now have a new itinerary that is including the Saône River. Quite a different experience again, very much a ladylike river, very curvy and very narrow, very beautiful. Then we come up here to the Mosel River, which we'll talk about again as well. The Mosel River reminds me of a river that you would see in a Disney book. You have the beautiful, colorful little villages against the water's edge. And then you look up around every bend. She's quite a lady too. You look up and there's these magnificent castles. It looks like they just took a glue gun and stuck them right there. Absolutely beautiful. But as you can see, it is a short river. So we combine it with the Main Canal in the Rhine or the Main Canal in the Danube, being able to offer you 7, 10, and 11-day sailings. Then we come up here, and these are our exotic destinations, Vietnam, Cambodia, and Thailand. If this isn't on your bucket list, I really pray you'll put it there. It's a life-changing experience. It is one of the most amazing trips I've ever had in the world. Then you come over to Africa, and not many of us think about Africa by water because we see National Geographic and PBS and everything is by land or game drive. I so recommend, if Africa isn't on your list, you put it there, but that you experience part of Africa by river on the Chobe Preserve. The Chobe Preserve was established for the preservation of the African elephant because of the poaching. And we have 5 different trips through Africa. And then we have very exciting this year, starting in September, we are going to cover the Nile. And with the Nile, we're going to give you the opportunity to visit Israel, United Arab Emirates, Dubai, and the country of Jordan. And this is absolutely a breathtaking experience as well, and is in very high demand. There's been a lot of pent-up demand for this destination. So we have the highest rated ships in Europe. 4 years ago, Berlitz, the travel writers who have been writing travel for over 45 years, ranked all the ships on the river. At the time, there was 280 vessels, and they gave AMA Waterways 1 through 10 to be the finest experience that you will have. So we hope that you'll join us to see our beautiful sights along the river, but also our beautifully well-appointed vessels. Award-winning dining. We know that no one goes on vacation to have bad food. So we have that all handled for you. We are one of the only river lines that has been inducted into the Le Chêne Rôdesseur, which is a French, very prestigious French culinary society. And what that means to you is you have 5-star dining at every turn. Each and every day, we change your menu based on the region that you're traveling. So you are immersing yourself in what the local culture experiences, the local foods, but then we are also changing out your wines. So you get the total culinary explosion for that particular region. And our exceptional crew, I could speak about them for days, but we do something different than any other river line at AMA Waterways. And that is that our cruise manager travels with our guests, land, river, land. So anytime that you choose a river journey, we're always going to have a pre or a post land extension available to you. And what this does, it just really enables you to spend a little extra time, maybe in a small city that's not right directly on the river. And our cruise managers are with you 24/7, taking care of all of your needs. They help you plan your dinner reservations, or they give you ideas on things to go do and see. They're with you taking your tours to make sure that we maintain that 5-star level of service and that your vacation is seamless. And this is innovation in its finest. We're the only ones on the river that have the double balconied staterooms. So this is a beautiful French balcony. The doors open. You have beautiful viewing of the river and lovely fresh air, but you're not in the elements. When you come over here, you have your second balcony. It's a step out balcony with tables and chairs, so you can enjoy the beautiful viewing along the river or a lovely glass of wine and coffee in the afternoons. But the thing I want to point out is that this door closes, so you are able to still control the temperature in your stateroom. And our chef's table. So on all of the vessels, with the exception of one, we have 2 dining options or venues. You have the main dining room, and then you have the chef's table. This is, again, a 5-star dining experience, 9 courses paired with the wines, again, of the region. It is a 5-star chef preparing each plate a la minute for the guest. It's about a 2.5-hour experience. It is absolutely phenomenal. And in this area as well, we have a coffee cafe, as we do in the main lounge area. So you may also enjoy after dinner some cappuccinos, some lattes, or the beautiful wines that we keep serving. I'm sorry, and the chef's table is all complimentary. I want to make sure I mention that. Now, my good friend Liz is going to chime in and help us drink some good wine and eat some good food all along the beautiful pleasures of the river.
I love it. And I love this quote: drinking good wine with good food in good company is one of life's most civilized pleasures. Oh my goodness. Well, I have a glass of wine. So I'm going to say cheers, toast. Let's go on this journey together. Give me a second, because I have to drink once you do a toast, otherwise it's bad luck. So that's a white Burgundy. It's lovely. When you're on a wine cruise, you're in for such a treat, because Rudy and Christine came up with this idea probably 10 years ago, 11 years ago. They had a friend come on board who's an iconic winemaker in Santa Barbara, Jim Clendenin of Aubin Climate. He did an impromptu wine tasting with all of the guests on board in the main lounge. It was so popular, they kept clamoring for more. So then, of course, Rudy and Christine, being the brilliant people they are, decided maybe we need to do some wine cruises. So I think they did like 2 or 3 the next year, all sold out, highest rated, and it's just grown from there. So now, 10 or 11 years later, we have between 60 and 70 wine cruises every year. These are designated dates and itineraries that lend themselves beautifully to the time of year, the celebration of wine, the harvest, all of that, and the food that you get on board as well. So on a wine cruise, they took the normal itinerary and added to it. They didn't substitute and refigure. They added onboard experiences with your wine host, and they added amazing wine excursions. So when you're on board, when you're doing the chaîne de rôtisseur dinner like this, that's usually the wine paired dinner where our wine host who is on board, our executive chef, and the wine host pair their production together for a magical evening of food and wine excellence. It's like being on a Michelin star restaurant.
It doesn't,
So-
Liz. I didn't want to interrupt you, but oh my goodness, that plate, I had to pass it by because it makes me want to go to the river so badly. That is actually one of the beautiful meals that we serve. That is not just a slide. That is one of the tastiest meals that we serve. Of course,
Yes.
are tasty.
You're absolutely right. And our wine hosts love it because that lamb pairs so beautifully with some of the amazing red wines that are produced in North America. So having said that, our wine host is from North America. And the reason for that is they understand your palate because most of our guests are from North America. So they understand your palate. They know all about the regional wines and their wines. So it's old world, new world, and it all comes together as a global view of wine. So when you're on board, you get 2 to 3 wine tastings and fun lectures about the region, about where they are from, and you get to do the tastings of the wines on board the ship and the wines that the wine host brought, and everybody's kind of interacting in the main lounge. It's so much fun. And then you get to go on excursions almost every day then into wine country. Whether you're on the Danube, you're going into the Wachau Valley, on the Rhine, you get to taste some amazing Rieslings. The Moselle region is incredible. And of course, France is exquisite. So this is going to give you a quick overview, and I think it's probably me, right?
Yes, it is.
So I'll let my twin tell you about a wine cruise.
Hi, my name is Liz Barrett, and I am a certified specialist of wine, and I am AMA Waterways wine expert who helped to put all of this wonderful experience together for you this week. And you are in for a treat. You're on a ship with some of the best crew, so get to know them. And we've added a lot of wine excursions onto the normal spectacular itinerary. You're going to be traveling into different wine regions. You're going to be going to wineries where you get to meet some of the family members, some of the wine cellars. You're going to have expert guides who are going to be able to tell you all about old world wines, the different varietals, some of which you've probably never heard of in North America, the different processes, many of which are regulated by government. And you're going to be tasting some of these fun wines, getting to know the different scents, which are very, very different from our North American wines. And because of that, we also have a very special treat for you. We brought a wine host on board to celebrate this celebration of wine cruise with you. This wine host is from North America. They speak your language. They understand your palate probably better than you do because it's probably evolved from understanding big, fruit-forward, wonderful North American wines, but they're very, very different from Old World style. So your wine host is going to be the glue that takes you between Old World and New World, and you get to do this side by side. And that is what sets AMA Waterways apart, because we want to give you an entire comprehensive view of the world of wine. Not only what you're traveling through, but what you'll return home to and make it all part of a global view of wine. So now that you've had a little taste, we're going to treat you every single night with wonderful wines from the region. But one special night, you're going to have a gorgeous wine dinner where we highlight your winehouse wines. They're going to tell you all about it, visit your tables, to ask questions, make sure everyone's having a wonderful time. And with that, I think it's time that you start enjoying your wonderful celebration of wine cruise with AMA Waterways.
That's so fun.
Hi, my name
Uh-oh.
My name is Liz Barrett, and I'm a certified specialist of wine. Yes. That's the reason why Rudy and Christine put me in charge of the wine cruises. I just tell people I'm a professional wino. So this is our beautiful Amacello, and this you would embark on your ship. This one is particularly on the Rhone, which is an amazing wine region. You can do the next slide.
Okay.
And I love this wine region map because you could go anywhere with us and find a rich history and treasure trove of amazing wines, and they're all so different depending on where you are. If you're in France, in Provence, you will have some amazing Beaujolais. You're going to have wonderful deep reds in the Hermitage region. If you're in Bordeaux, which is where a lot of that was filmed, goodness, the left bank, the right bank, all the blends, the Cabernet, the Merlot, the Sauterne, it's extraordinary. And this is kind of the iconic area of wine for the world. Paris and Normandy, there are no wine regions in this area, but my goodness, the culinary, the cider, the Calvados, and on board the ship, we have extraordinary French wines. So I think Paris Normandy is almost a bonus because you get so much more. And the Danube, the Wachau Valley in Vienna, you get to go to a Heuriger, which is a wine tavern where all the regional people go. When you're on the Rhine, Main, Moselle, my goodness, Spätburgunder, which is German Pinot Noir, and on the Douro, as Marcy stated, this is an extraordinary place. Everything is about wine. I mean, you actually go into someone's home, I think, to go wine tasting, and rich ports and just lovely reds, Vino Verde. It's all a big adventure, and the food that goes along with it is extraordinary. Next slide. So Rhone and Saône, this is our new Essence of Burgundy and Provence. And I bugged Rudy about this because I kept saying, wine cruises, why are we not going into Burgundy? Hello, I love Burgundy. I want to go into Burgundy. It's all about Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, Beaujolais. He's did it. I'm so excited. So this year, it's our first time traveling from the either from the Rhone up into Chalon-sur-Saône or the reverse. And I have to tell you what a contrast it is to be in Burgundy, where there are all these small family-owned wineries, and all of them produce different kinds of wine, all very similar varietals, but they are produced differently and they grow differently just because the soil is so different, even across the street from each other. It's that rich of a wine region and wine experience. It's extraordinary. And then you go into the Rhone that's broader, and it's more Syrah and lovely, lovely wines, rich history that is combined to, and my goodness, this is one of the most relaxing and one of the most fun itineraries I've ever been on. So next would be, that's the Burgundy, yes. So whether you're doing Colors of Provence, which is all on the Rhone, or you're doing Burgundy, which does take you Burgundy into the Rhone, goodness, pick any of them. And I might be on board with you because Marcy and I know these are some of the most fun cruises that AMA Waterways puts together, and it attracts fun people. So I'm thinking if any of you are fun, you might want to look into this. So next slide. Yes, and this is a great picture because you can tell it's all small family-owned wineries. I love this because the Hospice de Beaune is one of the excursions that you'll go on, and the Hospice de Beaune is centuries old medieval hospital. Look at that architecture. That roof, the mosaic, is very characteristic of the region in Burgundy, and it will change dramatically as you head down into the Rhone, very differently. So architecturally, it's amazing, but this building, and there's others scattered around Europe, they were a place where wine was believed to be part of a wellness program, which Christine always points out. She's like, well, drinking wine was probably safer than drinking the water, which, you know, I'm all good with that. But this one in particular, during the centuries, whenever there was a famine or a plague of some sort, or anything that happened to the villages around that, The hospital, I have goosebumps because I love this story. The hospice would take care of the villagers. They would come there, and as a thank you, the villages would gift to this hospital their wines, their wine cellars, their vineyards. So this has the most wonderful wine cellar. And it's because they were so generous and helpful. So I got to say, this is one of the coolest stories.
And then we have more tasting.
Tasting wine. So, and honestly, if you're on a wine cruise and you are not into wine, it does not matter. We're going to have amazing food, even more so than on a regular itinerary. We'll have wonderful beers. A lot of the regions that we go into, they'll have wine and beer. Like if you're on the Rhine, Cologne. Oh my goodness, there's a pub crawl in Cologne that's extraordinary. And as I mentioned, the Pinot Noir, Germany is the third largest producer of Pinot Noir in the world. People don't know that because they drink it all. And it's called Spätburgunder, which is really funny. Burgunder, Burgundy, it's because Burgundy is Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. That's the main grapes in Burgundy. Yes. So this white Burgundy that I'm drinking is a Chardonnay grape, but it's white Burgundy because it's made in Burgundy. So, oh, cheers again. Darn it. Okay. It's the rules. I'm sorry. It's the rules. So, and cheese. Oh my goodness. Marcy, are you into cheese?
I am into cheese. I can eat my way through Europe and the Netherlands. Oh my goodness. In fact, I have to tell you, I ordered cheese from the Netherlands as Christmas gifts. So,
oh,
yeah, I
love that.
And it comes fresh. I mean, it comes from them via airmail. So, yes.
Okay.
Cheese.
I might have to start doing that because I too love the cheeses in France. And you're right, Amsterdam, whenever you're there, it's all about the cheese. Those cheese shops are incredible. So again, culinary. Bordeaux. I gotta say, this is one of the most extraordinary because it's a smaller region and you go kind of in and out. You go on different rivers and you go into the different wine regions. There's so many different. There's the left bank, the right bank. We have in Bourg, the city of Bourg, they do a wine festival just for us, where you go to the House of Wine, which honestly, I think every town needs a House of Wine. I'm going to campaign for that. You go there and they have their local producers in Bourg bring all of their wines for everyone to try, and they change all the time. So if you've done it once, it's not going to be the same. They have entertainment. It's up on a hill. You can see, you walk to it from the ship. You can see the ship from up on the deck. It's extraordinary. And there's so much history here. In Saint-Emilion, you can go underneath the city and then come back up and go do a wine tasting or take a bike ride and end in a wine tasting. We don't make you ride your bike back to the ship after a wine tasting. I'm not sure I would even try that.
Exactly.
No, we want you to have a good time and relax. So yes.
This is just another picture of the Loire Valley. Yeah.
Yes.
And
the interesting thing about Bordeaux is the blend. It's all about the blends. Depending on which bank you're on, which side of the river you're on, it will either be a combo of first Cabernet, then Merlot, then Malbec, and a lot of other ones. Or it'll start with Merlot, like Saint-Emilion, Pomerol. It's heavy on the Merlot, then Cabernet, and it's all kind of this art, the art of the blend. It's pretty amazing if you like red wine, and I do.
Yes, I do too. There's not a bad wine though.
There is not.
And this
is Bordeaux at night. We actually dock right in there. So you can, again, that's the beauty of river cruising. We dock in most of the cities, close enough so that you can, most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, you can walk off the ship, go into town, take a taxi into town, go have dinner, go explore on your own. It's an adventure, and it's as free as you want to be or as structured as you want to be. and everything in between.
Here we are, the beautiful renowned vineyards, one of the many that
I think that's Saint-Emilion.
it looks like it.
Yeah. I walked into that city for the first time with my niece back in 2016, and you could smell the macarons, the fresh, goodness. I still think of that scent. It's like we followed it. See, there's, maybe I smelled the food. This is apparently a delicacy that is made in Bordeaux. I did not have this, but yeah, it looks pretty extraordinary. And all of the food that we serve on board is, you do want to take out your camera and take pictures of it, but you do want to eat it.
That's my favorite part about the cruises in Europe is the food. Like,
Food.
I'm good with a little bit of a wine, but give me the food.
Absolutely. And I love the fact that our crew, they're not stingy with the wine. Or the food. If you love the food, you can say, I want to try both, and they'll bring you both. Seriously, you could gain 7,000 pounds or go on all the excursions and it levels out. But
yeah, you walk it off.
You walk it off. You walk it off. But I love the wines because they always figure out that I'm a wino. So they'll come to the table and we have a beautiful white wine from the region. We have a beautiful red wine, and I'm like, I'll start with the white and go to the red because it's my job.
Somebody has to.
You know, somebody's got to do it. I'll throw myself on that grenade. Yes. So Saint-Emilion, beautiful. And then, as I said, Essence of Burgundy of Provence, brand new this year, and Impressions of the Seine and Paris. Again, it's traveling around that countryside with the food. You go to Vernon and Les Andelys, so much rich history, and just being in the Normandy coast, the marketplace that you get to go to, and the food and the caramels. Oh my goodness. Yes.
Yeah. Each area has something special. That is for sure.
Absolutely. I have to say though, and this is the truth, I have been on many Danube wine cruises. It's probably my favorite because maybe a second favorite to the Rhone, because I love the Rhone. But the Wachau Valley is pretty extraordinary, and most people don't realize that. But they have Gruner Veltliner, which is one of my favorite white wines now, and it's the most prolific varietal in Austria. And they make it sparkling, dry, off dry, and every single city makes a different kind. Vienna has something extraordinary that's very unique to Vienna. And Uwe, his little video, he's one of our cruise managers, he talked about it, Gemistersatz. And what that wine is, a vineyard has multiple varietals planted in the same vineyard. So it's not like this one's going to be Chardonnay, this one's going to be Pinot Gris, this one's going to be Gruner Veltliner, this is Riesling. They have a bunch of them, and they make a wine that is a blend of all of those grapes in that vineyard. So it'll be a white wine of all those white grapes, but it's in Vienna and it's extraordinary. And you get to go to a Heuriger, which is a wine tavern that where the locals go. I love to go where the locals go. So come with us on the Danube. It's incredible.
Absolutely.
Yes.
This just gives you an idea too of the different parts of that river. So you can see how long that river is. And this isn't nearly the entire duration of that river, but it's beautiful. Takes you up or down your river.
Every time I see these maps, it makes me want to go.
I know,
And
right?
Yes.
Budapest.
I love it. Budapest. Well, you've been to the Grand Market, right? It's the Grand Market, the paprika.
Yes.
It's
200
everywhere.
Yes. Yes. Hungary is known for its paprika. And in the Grand Market, which is a 4-story massive building that covers about an entire block right at the water's edge, they have 200 different types of paprika. So this is a wonderful place to get your paprika. I have it every time I go, I get more. I never use that much, but I share it. But this is a beautiful market. This is a very beautiful city, beautiful country.
Well, and when I was on not last fall, obviously, it was the fall before that, 19. I decided to take a walk from the ship in further into, like just sideways into Budapest. I found the cutest little wine store, family owned. They were the sweetest couple, and they were highlighting family owned wineries that were all Hungarian wines. Hungarian wines are amazing, and they're very similar to our North American wines because of the climate. So we had a wonderful Kek Francos. And they let me try everything. So our wine host that I was with on the AMA Magna, Leslie Sabraco, she does a PBS show. I texted her and I said, oh my gosh, you got to come see this place. So she takes a taxi from wherever she is in Budapest, meets me at this wine store. We had the most fun tasting, and we bought a bunch of wine and took it back to the AMA Magna and added it into our wine tasting for that evening's wine tasting. That's what happens on wine cruises. It's all about what's happening right now. Let's try this. Let's shift over here. It's just all about fun. And we have no corkage fee on board any of our ships. So when you go into the itinerary, buy the wine, bring it on the ship, drink it. Drink it with friends, everybody. I say the more the merrier.
Absolutely. And, you know, each stateroom, just to reinforce that, we encourage you to immerse yourself into local cultures, is that we have a corkscrew and 2 beautiful crystal glasses in every stateroom to make sure that we can accommodate those needs.
We're givers. We're pushers. Are we givers or pushers?
And Vienna's chocolate. Oh
my gosh. You can talk about this, Marcy. I think we did this together in Vienna.
We did. And not only chocolate is such, Viennese chocolate is so good, and you can't even hardly describe it, but to describe to someone who maybe hasn't been over to this region, their chocolates are a little bit different than ours. They're not nearly as sweet.
Right.
They're more of a palate quenching type chocolate. They're very, very delicious, but they don't use, I don't think, half as much sugar as we do in ours. And it just makes it to where it's really, really enjoyable. And you don't want just one piece. You want to try every single one there is with all the different apricot fillings and all the beautiful stuff that they make. But absolutely beautiful.
That's a great description. Very good description. Makes me want to be there.
Well, it's for all of us. And here's a beautiful Wachau Valley, as Liz mentioned.
Oh, and that looks like it's in the fall when the colors change. That to me is one of the best times to go on a wine cruise because there's no crowds. You're not a tourist anymore. You're actually part of the locals. And that's when they are celebrating wine. So you get to participate with them in those celebrations. That's extraordinary.
Exactly. And the Wachau Valley is 24 miles or 45,400 acres. So when you're talking about traveling the valley, you're not talking about just like this from here to here being the valley. The valley goes on and on with all the beautiful villages and the little vineyards all over. And, you know, there's one thing I've always said about Europe. They don't waste space. If there's a vineyard right here and there's a little tiny plot of land here, they just plant the grapes a different direction. So they get the usage of every little spot so that they produce magnificent wines that you can't get in so many parts of the world.
Right. And one of the best things to do on this itinerary is grab a bike from one of the bikes on board. Right here in Dürnstein, you can ride your bike from Melk Abbey, all the way to Dürnstein. And then just go wander through the little city, do an apricot tasting, because everything's about apricots in Dürnstein. I mean, apricot wine, apricot liqueur, apricot candy, and it's extraordinary. Yes, but that's so much fun because on the Danube, it's pretty flat. And you do actually ride through like Weissenkirchen and where there's vineyards everywhere. It's extraordinary.
It is. It's a wonderful, wonderful way. And if you don't want a bicycle, that's okay. We're going to take you by ship anyway. So not to worry. But I'll tell you what, the apricots in Dürnstein, this is a little city that has just like one way in and basically one way out. It's a very small, but very quaint and very beautiful little place. And this is one of the apricot pastries that they make. Oh my heavens. And to have an apricot pastry like this with a very crisp white wine, For some reason, that just goes together for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Excellent pairing.
Yes. And here we go to the beautiful city of Salzburg.
Oh, I love Salzburg. I actually enjoy Salzburg. I have not done wine tasting there, but my goodness, the shopping there is extraordinary. I'm sorry, I'm a girl. I have to be honest. The shopping there is amazing. But the history is, and it's just exquisite.
It is.
There's a restaurant there that I think is like from 10th century BC or something like that. I had dinner there. It was just pretty cool to eat in a restaurant that's that old.
Right. Right. And you know, the fun part is when we do our Salzburg excursion, on the way to Salzburg, we stop in a beautiful little village that literally just has one road in and one road out called Mondsee. And Mondsee is where Maria got married in the cathedral. And it's in the center of like the marketplace, just right there. It's a small, small place, but they have a little cafe there that has the most incredible wines. I stopped in there every single time I've been blessed to have gone numerous times. I stop in and I try a different one, and it is darling. It is right. You're looking straight at the cathedral where Maria got married. It's just
very cool.
Yeah, it's a wonderful.
One time when I was there, I just ran into a shop and bought a dirndl. I ran inside. I knew I didn't have much time, and I went, dress me. And I'm 6 feet tall. It was not an easy order.
But it's a lot of fun. It's a beautiful place.
So much fun, so much fun. And like I mentioned, the captivating Rhine is truly for the castles, the time that you spend on the deck of the ship watching everything go by, and the amazing dry Rieslings. Rudesheim is one of my favorite wine excursions, which is right about the middle. And they take you go to a winery. We love the wine owner, Adolf. He's such a character because he actually was educated at Davis, which is in California. And he's just so hilarious, but they'll take you on a hike up into the vineyard, and then you stop on one level. The guide tells you about the wine or the varietals that are there. He reaches behind this icon. There's a cooler, pulls out a lovely bottle of wine, and you've got your own little glasses. They're like little wine shot glasses, and he'll pour a little bit. So you do a tasting as you go up into the vineyard. So by the time you get to the top, you're really happy. And they have a little, like a table set with some food and more wine, and even talking about it, it makes me go, really? Was that a dream, or did that really happen?
Yeah. As all of you listening this evening can imagine, we had to suspend sailings last year due to the COVID pandemic. So we moved everyone from last year to this year and to next year. So those of us who are used to and very fortunate to be able to visit the rivers a couple times a year or even just once a year really miss traveling. We haven't been out and away in a while, just like you have not. So it's never too early to book these vacations.
No.
Are filling up.
Honestly, they are filling up fast. There must be a huge pent up demand because people are, I'm not doing this anymore. So everybody's booking either later this year or 2022, and it's filling up. Yes. Yeah. Oh, the brandy. Is that the coffee?
Yes, that's the brandy.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's a whole ceremony in Rudesheim. So you not only get wonderful wine, there's also a Christmas shop there that's amazing. And if you go kind of around Christmas, it's all decorated beautifully. They also do, and this is one of the things that we take you on, is this amazing coffee in Rudesheim that's flaming with brandy, and they're known for this. So again, it's not just about wine.
Right, it's not. And they shave fresh chocolate over the top of this cream that they put on top of the burning brandy. It's so hard to describe it. I can tell you, I can taste it in my palate right now, and my taste buds are watering. It's absolutely an amazing cup of coffee. You have to try it when you go.
Yes.
And you mentioned the Rieslings. Kind of explain a little bit, Liz, about the difference in the Rieslings from there to here. I learned a lot about that
Absolutely. Well, the Riesling is, what did I hear someone call it? It's one of the most transparent varietals in the sense that it takes on the terroir. So in Germany, it's going to taste very different from like Washington State or Northern California. To me, Riesling is probably the best food pairing wine because it is high in acid, which means like when you take a sip of it, you'll feel the acid on the sides of your tongue. That actually interacts with the food and helps to kind of bring it all together. In Germany, it's most of the time it is dry, which means no sugar, no residual sugar. Now, if you're in Alsace, which is also Alsace region, which is also on this itinerary in Strasbourg, you might try an Alsatian Riesling or a Gewürztraminer, which does have, it's off dry or a little bit of residual sugar. Again, it's not sweet like you would drink a sweet anything. It's so well balanced that you don't even realize it, but it just pairs so beautifully with food. And then when you go into the Moselle region, it is the world's most celebrated Riesling. Riesling goes back to Roman times. The city of Trier, which is on the Mosel, dates back to Roman times, and they have evidence of the Riesling grape being produced there. So it is an amazing, and it doesn't get a lot of press over here, but it's one of my favorites because of it's so easily consumed and it pairs with everything. If you ever go to a dinner and you're like, I don't know what to take a Riesling.
Absolutely. And this is what I like when I have the apricot pastry.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah, hot leg torts. Yeah, they are so good. So good.
Oh,
this looks good. Look at the beautiful foods.
oh my goodness. They have that in Strasbourg too. It's almost like a funky pizza-like thing. And Require is a fairy tale. That's a fairy tale town.
It is. It is. It is truly, you feel like you're in a fairy tale. It is.
Yep.
I would go to Riquier, and this is along the river. You have a couple of choices that day, but if you're on the Rhine River, I so highly recommend a visit to Riquier. This is literally the city is maybe 3 or 4 of these little streets.
Yeah.
And it is the restaurateurs, the local people, you can see they've made the pretzels and they have the pastries. And everything is so fresh, and it is it's at the bottom of like the mountainous range in France. Is beautiful. It's just beautiful. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Agreed.
And this, yum.
Again, Strasbourg. Isn't it beautiful? It's as gorgeous in person as that picture is. I don't even think that's retouched. Yeah.
No. Yeah.
So more good food.
Absolutely. The lots of sausage and the krauts. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Strasbourg again.
Well, as I mentioned, the Alsatian wine tasting, there's also another medieval hospital here, very similar to the Hospice de Bonn. It's called Hospice de Strasbourg. And yeah, same situation. They have a beautiful wine cellar where you can try some of the Alsatian wines. On a wine cruise, you're actually taken by a wine expert from the ship to a beautiful restaurant in Strasbourg, and you get to enjoy Alsatian wines and then go shopping.
Oh, nice. That's great. I love Strasbourg. Look at the beautiful little colored, and you see the wood paneled homes, and oh, it's so pretty.
It is gorgeous.
Okay. And these are all of our wonderful people and our wonderful guests on board. Does anyone have any questions? You can put them in the chat or the question box. Let me see if I don't have any questions. Let me see about chat. I don't have anything in chat. Does anybody have any questions about the wines or anything about cruising with AMA? No, you're in for a total delight and a treat when you travel with us. As I mentioned, everything is 5-star. You get the beautiful culinary experiences, not just within the countries, but you get them on board the ship. Do you have any singles? I have a question here. Travel with you. Absolutely, we have singles travel with us. We have a lot of singles travel with us. And the one thing I want to say about singles that travel with us, and I've had many from my region, is that they say they're only alone until they get to the ship, and then they have a whole new family. We really wrap our arms around our single travelers. You will never be single once you get there, trust me, ever. And we wrap our arms around you. We're always there to help you with what tours are going to be best for you. But also, you are traveling with people that have your own likeness. And I have to be honest, I've traveled alone for years together in many places in the world. And on the ship, one of the first cruises I took, I was by myself, and no one knew me because they didn't know, of course, at that point I was with AMA. And I have to tell you, I had a goal, and it was to meet 6 people in my first hour. And I met 16 people in my first hour because the lounge area is so warm and inviting. The crew members are so attentive that absolutely we have single travelers, and we invite you please to join us. And we have some promotions and some lower rates for single travelers than you'll find really in the marketplace with other competitors. So please come and see us. Call Haley, and she can absolutely get the information for you and help you decide which river is going to be the one that will exceed your expectation the most. You're right, it is amazing. The person who asked about the single traveler said it's so exciting and it sounds amazing. It is amazing.
It is.
Join us, absolutely. Here is your information, Haley's information, which I always try to make sure you have, and certainly a way to get a hold of her. And she's an expert in her field. She does a terrific amount of training and has studied and has visited many, many of these places. So she is able to fit you with exactly what you're looking for and what is the best fit for you. We know that your vacation is an investment, and your investment to us at AMA Waterways is very important. We have been here 18 years. We pay cash for our ships. We know that your vacation is an investment, and it is truly safe with us. We're going to be here many, many more years to come, and we do hope that each and every one of you will plan your vacation soon so you get that perfect itinerary that you're looking for. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And Liz, thank you so much for hosting all of your knowledge and sharing with us about the wine. It's always a treat.
So much fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody. I hope to see you soon and chat with you about the rivers.
Thank you all so much. Have a beautiful evening. Thanks so much. Go and have a great glass of wine.
All right. Bye-bye.